It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Scooters Coffee and Rescue Towing. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Abby Dyer. It is Monday, January 22nd. And if you are waking up, getting ready for the day, about to head out the door, if you can, just crawl back in bed. It is not nice out there. We've had freezing rain on the radar since the overnight hours, a winter weather advisory in place, and all sorts of trouble on the roads out there already. Freezing rain, a mess. Really just a rude way to start a Monday. This is not the way you want to start the new work week, but that's what we are dealt today. We have a slick forecast for the first part of the day. I have good news though, and it's that the evening commute should actually be much better than the morning commute because temperatures as we go through the course of the day will warm up. We are starting the day in the 20s in most communities. We're in the upper 20s, about 27 degrees as of 5 a.m., and we'll warm to about 37 degrees this afternoon. Problem is, it just takes some time to do so. And as we have active rainfall coming down, it was so cold in the Ozarks over the weekend. The ground is frozen solid. Our temperature right now is frozen solid. So what's falling out of the clouds is rain. Problem is, it's getting down here to the surface. It's hitting our very cold ground, and everything is just freezing up on contact. So we have some very slick conditions developing already. It takes just a trace amount of freezing rain to cause issues. And we have a whole lot more than that coming down in some places. In fact, a 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch for a widespread region expected in the Ozarks early today. We will see improvement this afternoon, but it's going to take some time to melt this off as our temperatures warm up and our freezing rain transitions over into just a cold rainfall. Avoid the roads if possible. That's my message for you this morning. And it's not just local here in the Ozarks. We have widespread freezing rain for much of the state. It's widespread for Missouri, for Arkansas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Illinois, a huge portion of the Midwest getting in on these icy conditions today. We also have a winter weather advisory through the day. So school cancellations, widespread across the Ozarks again today. It's been a rough 2 weeks for parents. I know it's another day where it is dangerous to be out on the roads this morning. I mentioned that we saw some of that freezing rain start actually overnight, and it's accumulating in many places. If you look at a tree branch or something, that's really the best way to tell how much you have. But you can actually see that it's accumulating close to a 1/4 of an inch in spots. That's a lot of freezing rain. If you actually absolutely have to get out on the roads, plan way more time than you need. Drive so slow. Do not use cruise control and leave plenty of distance between the car in front of you and yourself. You do not want to mess around with freezing rain and travel. Good news is, I think if you can delay your plans today, you'll be okay by this afternoon because temperatures warm up and we're going to start melting off that layer of ice that we quickly accumulated overnight and will continue to accumulate this morning through the morning drive. It's mid-morning through the lunch hour that we start to see those temperatures warm up above that critical number of 32 degrees. And that's when the melting process can happen. So as temperatures warm through the day, what we'll see on the radar is, number one, our freezing rain transition over into just rainfall, but it's also going to start to melt away that ice layer. So if you're in one of these places north of I-44, by the lunch hour, we really start to see some improvement. It doesn't take much to, melt off a 1/10 of an inch of ice. That process can happen pretty quickly. May take a little bit longer in some of our southern counties south of I-44, where some of those ice totals are going to be a little bit higher. If you got a 1/4 inch of ice this morning, it's going to take a little bit of time to melt that off. There will likely still be slick areas through the late afternoon and through the evening drive. So there will be some trouble spots even this evening. But I think for our northern counties, we see a whole lot of improvement. Springfield metro area, I am expecting us to get close to the freezing point again by lunch. So by the second half of the day, by evening drive time, I'm expecting conditions to be much better than they are this morning. Widespread rain will then replace this freezing rain, and it looks like a good chance for some widespread showers here too. We do see warmer conditions spread into the region by Tuesday, and I've got temperatures in the 50s again later this week. So this will be a thing of the past as we head closer to later this week. This is the only opportunity for winter weather this week. What's falling on the radar right now, but boy, it's causing a mess out there. And if you check the MoDOT traveler map, widespread issues. as we head through the morning, mid-morning, and lunch hour. As we get closer to Wednesday, that's when we see temperatures approach the 50-degree point again. And the temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center for the next 8 to 14 days looks warm, not just for us, but for much of the country. So better news is on the way. We just have to wait for that warmer weather to get back in. I have a high temperature today in Springfield of 37 degrees. I think we get there probably around 4 o'clock this afternoon. We should be above the freezing point, or at least right at it by noon. I think the real key today is check the thermometer in your exact location, because as soon as we get above 32, we can start the melting process. We can start to improve things, and the rain will actually help melt some of this off as we head through the second half of your Monday. Primarily a cloudy day on Tuesday, but rain chances return Tuesday night. Rain looks likely on Wednesday, but by then, temps are in the 40s and 50s for overnight lows and afternoon highs, so we shouldn't have an issue with any winter weather for the remainder of the week. We've got high temperatures back in the 50s and a dry day on tap for Thursday. I know we're all looking forward to that, where you don't have to bundle up in all the layers. Really, weather across the country is starting off active as we begin the new work week. We have excessive moisture happening out on the West Coast. There have been headlines over the weekend for the Pacific Northwest, for Northern California, excessive moisture still happening out there. That's all headed toward the Rockies. We also have an icy start for much of the Midwest, and we're included in that here in the Ozarks. We also have much warmer weather, not just for us, but for much of the country. So I think there are a lot of folks across the country excited about that. I expect that as we head into the second half of the day, we see temperatures in the upper 30s. So we will wait for that warmer weather to join us. All right, I will show you the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister question. This is what I left you with last week. A little bit of knowledge for Portland, Oregon. They made some weather headlines last week with a big snowstorm, and then they had freezing rain. Well, we're getting the freezing rain now, but did you know the answer to this question? The city of Portland, Oregon almost had a different name. The founders settled the name dispute by playing which simple game? The options that I gave you were A, rock, paper, scissors, B, tic-tac-toe, C, a thumb war, or D, a coin toss. If you went to the website and guessed D, a coin toss, you are correct and now entered to win a $20 gift card to Scooters Coffee. Thank you, Scooters. It was decided with a coin toss. The other option for Portland, Oregon was Boston. It could have been Boston, Oregon. Its founders actually decided this over a dinner party. One wanted Portland, the other wanted Boston. Pettygrove and Lovejoy, the founders of what we now know as Portland, Oregon, that the story goes, it was a best 2 out of 3 toss. Whoever won the coin toss got to name the city. Pettygrove's coin landed heads up twice, and thus he won the coin toss and naming rights to the city, and it is now Portland, Oregon, but it was almost Boston, Oregon. All right, here's your question that I'll leave you with for tomorrow. Which of these is likely to freeze first when freezing rain is falling? Do you think it is A, a driveway, B, a bridge, C, a sidewalk, or D, a road? Let me know what you think. Which one of those freezes first when freezing rain begins to fall? If you need to check the forecast, we have you covered up to the minute all day long. Weather information at aroundtheozarks.com. Thank you so much for listening this morning. And hey, I wanted to let you know that you can listen to Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather anywhere that you get your podcast. But one of the best ways and easiest ways to stay connected, not only with Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, but with all of our fantastic podcasts. We have Around the Ozarks in 5, Rewind with Woody and Janet, Sports Scene with Scott Purrier, Ned Talk with Ned Reynolds, and many more. You can get the podcast with the video versions all on the app. Make sure you download it. Around the Ozarks It's in the App Store, available everywhere, free to download. You can get the video version too. Just click on the big logo on the scroll at the very top of the app. We know a lot of you watch on Facebook or social media. Sometimes it's hard to find the very latest episode, so the app makes that a lot easier. You can listen there, you can watch the video portion, you can stay up on the Brain Twister trivia questions. So check it out in your phone's App Store, search Around the Ozarks, download the app, and of course, check out the website and enter our Brain Twister trivia question to win a chance for $20 to Scooters Coffee. Thank you to our sponsors, Scooters and Rescue Towing. Hope nobody needs them this morning. Slow it down. Stay safe, everybody. And I will chat with you again early tomorrow.